All right, another lesson on the really important concept of self-talk. So there'll be plenty of dialogue about self-talk. We've talked about this before, but the narrative that's happening within us plays a massive role in developing a filter through which we see everything, our environment, our relationships, our challenges, our successes, the whole deal. So if we want to be grateful, if we want a growth mindset, if we want to be resilient and persist in the face of setbacks, we have to have some degree of ownership over self-talk. So very quick self-talk tool. We call it the NNN approach. Easy to remember, easy to call up. It begins with noticing. So it's important just to start to notice that self-talk is happening, that there is a dialogue that is not existing in the objective world. There are a set of opinions. There are, who knows what else might be going on up there, but it's happening. So step one is just tuning into the fact that it's happening. Noticing. Naming. And we'll do a whole lesson on types of self-talk. So is it, am I using sort of a polarized version of self-talk, meaning that's bad, that's good. This is important, that's not important. I messed up is a very common version, or I blew it, or I should have. Should is a really big word. I should have done something different. So naming the sort of self-talk that is coming up. We've talked about the difference between positive and negative. It's probably pretty obvious. We've talked about instructional versus motivational, which may not be as obvious, but refer to that lesson. These are some very common types of self-talk, but just to be able to notice it and then name it will give you a far better opportunity to navigate the situation. And this is ultimately what we're aiming for. Successful navigation of whatever situation we might be in. Ultimately being able to return to this idea, does your behavior match your goal? And we use this question over and over and over again. The mantra of practical mindfulness. Does your behavior match your goal? That's leader or coach to athlete potentially. Internally, does my behavior match my goal? Just a touch of judgment-free self-reflection, self-awareness, asking a very straightforward question. Notice that the self-talk is happening. Name what sort of self-talk is coming up, and then begin to navigate. Does that match my goal? If every time I go into a meeting with Joan from accounting, or if every time I encounter Steven on the basketball team, do I have a preemptive version of self-talk? Is it slightly negative? Potentially informed by previous experiences, but am I not giving this young person, in Steven's case, the benefit of the doubt and just making assumptions that he will behave a certain way every time I encounter him? And then if I give feedback, I know how it's going to go. These are all things that could be happening between your ears before you even engage with, start talking to Steven. So tending to the filter that is our own self-talk and our own expectations and perspectives can be a challenge, but it's absolutely necessary. Notice, name, navigate.